Hey, Anime Addicts, this podcast is brought to you by, well, you, surprisingly enough. And I understand that this is the holiday season and you're busy buying gifts for so many people out there in the world, you may not have the fundage left to help out the podcast. But hey, joke's on you again, because you can help out the podcast if you go to supporttheaddicts.com, scroll down just a bit, and click that Amazon link. Anything you buy on Amazon during these holidays will give the podcast a royalty. You can actually help the podcast out while you're being a kind little family member or friend this holiday season. Again, that's supporttheaddicts.com. Scroll down, click the Amazon link. It's actually for a Vegeta polo. But anything you buy on Amazon after clicking that link within 24 hours gets the podcast a royalty. So shop away and support the Addicts at supporttheaddicts.com. And now, time to start the podcast.
Get ready! You're about to listen to the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast. Make your anime addiction worse at AAApodcast.com. And now, here are your anime addicts.
Ho! Welcome into episode 654 of the Anime Addicts Anonymous podcast, where our sole mission is to make your anime addiction worse. I am your host, Mitsuki, and I am joined by one fellow anime addict. Her name's Caroline. Caroline, how are you?
It is indeed. I'm doing pretty good today, though it feels strange because we are officially in the Christmas season. Oh,
yeah.
Are you ready? Are you ready for Christmas, Mitsugi?
Well, I do have my tree up downstairs, and
I don't have my tree up yet.
And I think it was you, who showed me. But I did buy that Sega Genesis console tree ornament that goes Sega when you push the button.
Yes,
so
good.
I bought it. Of course, now Pancake wants one of Knuckles because we don't have Knuckles, and she loves Knuckles. But we'll see. But yeah, so we are in the spirit. Oh shit! And I'm apparently playing drops that I should not be playing.
In Japan!
So hey guys, welcome into the podcast today. You know, I'm just gonna say a few things here. Of course, tell a friend. Go on whatever service you listen to this podcast and write a review. Just make sure it's a perfect review, please. And
Perfect!
And of course, if you want to support the podcast, you can get 8 extra podcasts per month. We do our hentai episodes, our after parties, and our hobby addicts. I just talked about Sonic Frontiers on Hobby Addicts. Caroline talked about Thanksgiving. You can get that over at AAApodcast.com/join or at patreon.com/AAApodcast. It really is quite costly to run a podcast, the way that we do it at least. And we do need your support. So we at least want to give back to you when you help us out. So head out over there. And of course, we're on twitch.tv on Sundays at 5 p.m. Eastern, so hit that up, of course. Welcome to everybody who slowly funnels in on Twitch, because we're always late, and we know this. We're also on all social media, particularly Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and we're on the Discord, where we have a Secret Santa going on right now. Caroline, would you like to talk about the Secret Santa?
Yes, so we have mentioned it the last couple of weeks, but Secret Santa, this is an anime recommendation Secret Santa. So all you have to do is go to our Discord, find the Secret Santa channel, and there you can fill out this little form. It's in the pinned notes, so you don't have to go searching for it. And basically, it's you just saying your likes, your dislikes, if you particularly like rom-coms, but you absolutely hate ecchi, then you put that in there, and any other information that you care to share, as well as your anime list. And then I and your anime elves will secretly pair you up with different people within our Discord, and you have to think of an anime recommendation for them. And so that deadline to enter is December 11th. So you have another couple weeks to enter in our Discord, but please do so when you can, so that you're not scrambling last minute to do so. And we will get back to everyone with their people after that and think of your anime recommendations. And it's going to be a really fun time to just chat about the shows that we like and, get people on their bandwagons. So hopefully more people will join in on that, though we do have quite a few people already. So that's going to be really fun. And so what are we going to be doing today, Mitsuki?
Well, as I sit here and I sip my vanilla almond coffee with whip. So I know you're jealous because you're having water, which is so boring.
No, but Hydro Homie.
Oh, for
this
God's
is me.
Look, Mason's not here. We don't have to prop
I know,
up,
but
prop
I can't get over how he shunned me when I drunk tea that one time.
Tea is great. So today on the podcast, we're going to be doing our big news. We have some good news topics to talk to you about. We're also going to be doing infuriating anime concepts, which are basically anime plot lines that we and also members of the Discord have come up with that will infuriate us, and we're going to read those. So that'll, be just rage-inducing, I'm sure. After the news break, we have some mailbags for you, so we're going to do that. And also, a Mitsugi Isekai special review of Black Summoner. And I know you're hyped for this.
As if the infuriating anime concepts doesn't just stop at the topic for today.
I'm not going to lie to you. I think it's anime of the year or close to it. So we're going to get to all that.
Very low standards.
We're going to get to that. But first, it's big news of the week.
It's time for big news of the week.
All right, motherfuckers, strap yourself in. The manga industry is all in uprage because they're all out of sorts. 20% of artists fear bankruptcy due to Japan's new invoice system. Very boring but relevant topic today. So we all know that Japan already has really bad treatment of the employees in the manga and anime industry. We've talked about this a lot of times, but it's actually considered like a black kigyo almost, they have black companies in Japan that abuse their employees, but the manga and anime industry has unfortunately become known as a black industry in Japan because it's so bad. According to a survey about the manga industry conducted recently, in the big first week of November, apparently 60% of manga assistants make less than $14,000 a year. 60% make less than $14,000. So there's your starting point for the conversation. But Japan is going to be implementing a new filing system for invoices in October 2023. So you have so all these manga creators, you have time to find a new industry to work in. You got a whole year. 98% of respondents were sole proprietors, and 20.6% of them reported that they feared that the new rule changes would cause them to go out of business. Under the new system, which will take place again next October, freelancers and sole proprietors will lose their tax-exempt status because invoices will be subject to consumption tax. So for those of you that don't know, consumption tax is imposed when a business transfers goods or provides services or imports goods into Japan, and the tax is 8%. So basically, the people from the industry, prominent members of the manga industry, have already discussed that royalties are really unstable in that industry, that the manuscript fees have sort of plateaued because the Japanese economy has been stagnant for years. There's a recession in the publishing industry, and that's been going on for quite a while. And this particular member of the manga industry said that if artists need to hire accountants and pay taxes on their invoices, then they will be forced to go out of business. So, you have any thoughts at this point, Caroline?
Well, I can't pretend to be very knowledgeable in economics and invoices and things of that nature. But, yeah, I mean, it sucks, definitely.
I'm kind of torn because, on the one hand, I understand that the industry is really fucking terrible, and
yeah,
like $14,000 a year is just almost hard to imagine,
Yeah.
Because I think people that God, I don't want to throw a a word out there to describe what the lowest level of job is in the United States, it could be anything. I don't know. I'm not going to give an example. I don't want to offend anybody, but it's got to pay more than $14,000 a year, no matter what it is. So on the one hand, I feel really bad for these people because $14,000 a year is like almost nothing. But on the other hand, everybody has to pay taxes. So to become, it's weird. It's like you shouldn't complain about having to pay taxes because that's just a thing you have to do. But the fact that paying taxes will cause these people to go bankrupt is pretty astonishing. I think basically if this was the United States, and I can't speak to Japan's tax system, but if you only made $14,000 a year, you're basically like almost not going to pay taxes at all. You pretty much won't. But if they're going to tax you 8% consumption tax on all the services you provide, then you really are paying an 8% tax. But like to think that like people can't afford to pay an 8% tax is pretty sad. And that's just a failure of that industry because 8% is really not a lot. I mean, like the average person's net tax burden in the United States is like 20%, 25 maybe, 22, something like that. I don't know, but it's more than 8. So anyway, but in addition to this, so they had a survey. Almost 1,300 manga industry members responded, and only 17 of them were in favor of the system. So that's like
I don't know anybody that would be in favor of the system. It's
like 0.5%. And the other reason why they don't like it is because the system is compromising individual privacy in their opinion. The invoices can only be considered verified if the individuals that are filing them use their real names, and names will be accessible to the public via a national database. So I don't know what this means exactly, but it sounds like they don't want their names to be known. Like if you're using a pseudonym, your name might be revealed. And I should say that this applies to more than just the manga industry because 76% of voice actors in Japan reported an income of less than $21,000. So the voice actors, the manga assistants, none of these people are making any money. So it's really affecting, it's going to affect everybody. So, we had a conversation on the Discord about like Crunchyroll didn't want to pay their voice actors like a lot of money. Well, apparently they don't make a lot of money in Japan either. So I don't know, it just might not be a particularly lucrative job. But $21,000 a year isn't really a lot. So, that's about it. And just more sad things. I don't know. We'll see. They got a whole year to bitch and moan about it and maybe get something done about it. So maybe they'll get some things changed. But I don't know. Find side jobs. I don't know. That's I don't know. I can't really offer any advice. It just seems fucked up. But that was my big news of the week. Caroline, what do you got?
I couldn't really find anything extremely interesting, but I did hear that the founder of Oculus, Palmer Luckey, has been trying to develop a VR headset inspired by Sword Art Online, lethality, and all. So he says, the good news is that we are halfway to making a true nerve gear. The bad news is that so far, I have only figured out the half that kills you. The perfect VR half of the equation is still many years out. So although as the SAO nerve gear, like in the show, used microwave emitters to fry the user's brains, his headset will use 3 explosive charge modules connected to a photo sensor, so that when the screen flashes at a specific frequency, like a game over screen, the charges will fire, killing the user instantly.
What? This is not real, though. This is so silly.
Like, I think this is all just in theory. Of course, they're not going to be putting this out on a market or anything like that.
Can you imagine the lawsuits?
Oh, yeah. I think he's just like a big SAO fan. So he just wants to, like, see if he can actually make one of these. But he's also working on an anti-tampering mechanism. So that would prevent others from removing or destroying the headset, just like in the show. What a guy.
Would you wear such a headset?
No! I would not. Would I place a gun next to my head? No!
Don't be a pussy, Caroline. Come on.
Are you going to put an explosive VR headset on your head?
I did smoke a
He
bunch
also said somewhere, like, not only will this happen if a game over screen is put up, it's also it can be faulty. Like, it can explode without that happening. So it's not as if it's only when you lose a game.
I will say the one time I did play Resident Evil 7 in VR, and I smoked a bunch of pot before I did that, and I couldn't play it. I was too scared.
You would have died. If you died in that game, you would have died for real.
I just poured myself fresh hot coffee and I put fresh whip on top of it. How jealous are you?
Well, not jealous at all, because I saw you lick the can before we started the show.
Oh, everybody sprays whipped cream into their mouth.
Oh, I do too, but I don't lick the nozzle.
I'm the man of the house. I can do whatever the fuck I want.
You got whipped cream on your lip.
Of course I do. Mason, what do you have for your big news of the week? Well, the Tommy Galaxy is pretty good.
Very nice Mason impression.
Mason. No one can do an impression of Mason. He is one of a kind.
Absolutely.
Well,
so, shall we get to our main topic for today? Sorry.
Sure, we can. I, for one, would not wear such a headset.
Oh, thanks. Good to know.
Unless I tell you what, unless it gave me a cack or harem, in which case I might. I mean, in a way, look, microwave rays that cook your brain, flashing lights that give you a seizure, whatever the fuck we're doing with these headsets, you're just as likely to die from a heart attack while being overwhelmed with the sexual pleasures of 19 cat girls. Okay? I mean, you've heard of, like, men get discovered all the time by police, like, naked on beds, like, because they have heart attacks, while they're having fun. But so, I mean, those headsets could be lethal. They could just provide a level of stimulation that humankind is not prepared for. And I can tell you that there's
a jelly bean for that.
There's a reason
thing.
Why humankind does not intermingle with cat girls. Cat girls do not exist because they are a risk to the survival of humanity. Humanity we'd stop reproducing with each other, and we would just be wiped out due to massive heart attacks because our bodies are just not prepared for this. So Jinter in the chat, yeah, he wants 19 cat girls. I understand. I do too. And Caroline will get you some cat boys, and they're gonna look really cute. They'll be dressed nicely, and they'll look like hosts, like from like a host club. And it'll be fucking perfect. There's something for everybody in this, I'm telling you. And as anime president, by God, we're looking into the funding right now. We're going to make this happen. Because when I make a promise, I deliver.
Okay.
Would you like to talk about our main topic today?
Of course. So today, we are talking about infuriating anime concepts. And this is inspired by our many conversations on our Discord, where we have come to realize that it is extremely easy to think of the concepts that we hate the most. Like for Mitsuki in particular, I can rattle off several concepts in anime that he despises. And I'm sure he can say the same for me. Thankfully, Mason's not here because he's a little bit more complex than us. So we have each come up with a couple of anime plots. This is kind of like a reverse Shark Tank, or as somebody in our Discord called it, Troll Tank, which I think is a much better title for this topic, where we will read each other's, and I think we should also rate it like out of 5 how much we would not want to watch this show. And we also have a ton of listeners submitted plots. A lot of them are from Mitsuki because I think they know you.
Oh my God.
Better than they because you are so easily infuriated.
Whatever.
So we have so many of them. Let's see if we can get through most of them. I don't know if we'll be able to get through all of them.
Well, and I'm gonna rate. I'm gonna rate how infuriated they made me out of 10. So you know. So we will see.
Oh, okay. Okay. So do you want to go first?
I am just so excited to have you read my first submission that I wrote for you. That I think you should.
Okay, I'll go first then.
I think you should read one of mine for you first. This is like Christmas. All right, who wants to open up their presents first? Okay, you go first.
And every single present is a lump of coal.
This was handpicked with love, just so you know. I hope you enjoy.
You wrote it yourself, though.
I did.
Right?
I did. Oh yes.
Okay.
You can't make this shit up. This kind of stuff can only be extracted from my fucked up brain.
Okay, so here is Mitsuki's first plot that he has written specifically for me. Tanaka is a big-time playboy. He has the looks and charisma to land himself the hottest woman Tokyo has to offer. He's a hungry man. He eats often. What? Is that a euphemism?
It is.
Then one day he is scouted to become the host of a late-night game show called Tunnel of Love. In Tunnel of Love, women...
You can't even read it.
In Tunnel of Love, women stick their bare coochies through a wooden cutout so that only their manko is exposed. I don't even know what that is.
Pussy.
Based on this single visual alone, contestants have to guess which one of the exposed holy lands in the lineup belong to their wife or girlfriend. Things get complicated when Tanaka starts to recognize these women from his late-night escapades, and some of them weren't single. I didn't ask for harems, Mitsuki, or not harems, hentais.
You know that mole that's like next door on the right? How could you forget it? I know that mole.
Mitsuki.
I know that monko. Well, are you gonna eat any jelly beans for this? Come on.
I think it's deserving of a jelly bean, but I'll eat it while you are reading mine.
What do you think though? I mean, was it a good? Did I pick well?
I mean, at first I'm like, okay, this is fine, but then you really hit it home with that second paragraph.
Some might say I hit it hard.
Oh God.
It's jelly bean. There you go.
So,
come on.
Out of 5, I would give that a 4. I would definitely not want to watch that.
Oh, come on. It would be so funny. Maybe
to you, but not to me.
Now, I'm gonna tell you something. There is a real Japanese TV show like this, but they do it with breasts. Women stand up and they stick their breasts through like a human-shaped wooden cutout, and then the husbands have to guess which pair of titties belongs to their wife.
Oh, actually, I know that there's a game show in like the UK or something. I forget what it's called, but basically it's like a dating show. Like you pick a date out of somebody, but they they show you their bare nakedness. Like you get a lineup of girls or something, and slowly a curtain rises, and you see them from like the bottom up. And they're bare naked, and it's just wow. I've never watched it, but I've heard of it. Anywho, shall we get to my first plot?
Yeah, I'm pouring myself even more coffee because I feel like I will need the adrenaline from the caffeine to survive what I'm about to read.
Honestly, I think mine are pretty tame compared to what you gave me.
Well, but I'm an unhinged, psychotic motherfucker, so...
Oh, that's true.
I mean, what do you expect, honestly? 3 of a kind.
That's the name of the anime.
Yeah. What happens when 3 moe blobs meet in the school's card game club? The most intense sport anime of all time. Hana-chan, Toki-chan, and Rei just want to play Go Fish in solitaire, but if they want to keep their card game afloat, they will have to train their minds and bodies under the tutelage of Miko-senpai, also known as the Card Shark, in the junior high card game circuit. Will they defeat all the teams in the prefecture? Will they save the club? Can their love of cards prevail with the power of friendship? Find out in the most anticipated sports anime hit of the summer, 3 of a kind. Rating pending. I'm surprised you didn't drop Karuta in there at all.
Well, I can't steal from. I mean, I can be
Somebody
inspired by.
Someone
else
else
I'm not going
to
steal.
How many of the listeners included Karuta in there? It's so on Twitch.
I feel like many, and many were inspired by that same concept. I think
on Twitch, by the way, people just like, it's like everything is censored on Twitch. So it's like, will you permit this? Will you permit this? I just click allow to everything. I don't even read what they said. Well, I would not watch that unless I was forced to watch it, which does happen often. But wow,
I'm picturing for this like a Birdie Wing style or something like that, you know, where it's the most tame thing ever, but it's played up for laughs, like the most intense game of Go Fish between a couple of junior high school girls.
I actually think that watching people play Go Fish could be more entertaining than watching people play Karuta, because let's be honest,
they would consider it a sports anime. That is the main thing here.
Well, it's not,
and it's also Moe Blobs.
Well, and they'd be wrong. So, I would say that watching this would cause me great pain, and I would give it 3. Just 3 fat blunts that I'd need to smoke to get through that out of 5, probably.
Very nice.
All right.
Okay, so let me get to your next one here. Did you just give the main character the same name you gave the first one?
Yeah, I did. And if I had written a third plot for you, I would have given that person the same name as well.
I feel like that's the way to do it, because I'm like thinking of what are some Japanese names I can give these characters. Anywho, your next plot is Tanaka is living the high life as one of the royal scientists in the Grand Duchy of Excalibur. This sounds like an isekai. The kingdom is well, except for 2 things: the struggling economy and the noticeable lack of large-breasted patrons. Tanaka's side hustle, a waiter at the Royal Duchy's hottest nightclub, Diamond Heart.
You're dying. Your face is so red.
Tanaka likes his nightly mokuri and is feeling in need of nourishment. Oh god. Tanaka is depressed both by the failing economy and also by the lack of stimulating clientele, and so it decides to take matters into his own hands. He invents a serum that he slips into the food at Diamond Heart. Oh my god! Are you roofing the customers, Mitsuki?
I'm not doing
Which
shit.
make the women's breast grow approximated 3 full cup sizes. The move both stimulates the economy of the Grand Duchy at large and business at his side hustle, making him one of the wealthiest and horniest waiters in town. This improvement is driven by a newly invigorated tourist economy. Male tourists flock from hundreds of miles to visit the Grand Duchy, seeking the world's finest eye candy. Female tourists come to visit the hottest new spot, Diamond Heart. Wow. That is like, certainly an anime plot.
It's like the genius prince saves the kingdom, but by making everybody have big breasts.
Honestly, I think I would rather watch that than Realist Hero. So...
Oh no!
Not horrible idea.
I have failed.
I would never pick this up myself. But I would not be. Of course, I would not be happy watching it for a review. But if I were, I don't think it will be like the worst anime that I've ever had to review this show. So I think I'll give it 3 out of 5. I wouldn't want to watch.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but as far as trash anime go, that very horny weeaboo patrons of anime would like to watch, I think both of these ideas are better than something like The Harem and the Labyrinth of Another World.
I wouldn't know because I haven't watched it.
Or, well, because all he does is, like, man, you're going to have... If you watch that, you're going to have a rough time. Well,
luckily, we are planning that for the week I won't be here. So, woohoo!
Oh, the listeners are going to hate that, Caroline. They really
I know, but I would rather... Okay, so I thought about this, and I'm going to be out on, like, December 11th. And I thought about it, and I'm, like, thinking to myself, you know what? I wouldn't be completely, like, against watching it because I know it would be entertaining. But the thing is that I would rather watch something else on our roster than that. So unfortunately, it's just the bottom of the list.
I'm not sure you'd get through that anime.
I can try my best, I suppose.
It's pretty much a hentai. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
there's an 8-minute sex scene.
Luckily, I don't have to. It's just going to be a you and Mason almost hentai episode.
All right. Well, let me read your next one here.
Mine are so tame compared to yours because I know what you don't care if things are completely disgusting.
Yeah.
All you need to get you annoyed is bland and boring. And well, what you think is bland and boring.
I just want to point out again how easy it is to come up with these ideas. Like anybody can invent I did those two in literally 4 minutes total.
Yeah.
So it's just like,
because like we just know what makes each other tick, and it's not complicated.
See, all the Japanese anime creators need to do to just get a hit trash show is to just come up with something fucking completely fucking insane. We're past like disappointing and boring like love triangle anime where like, you know, some guy ends up falling in love with his stepsister or something. That's old hat. We need like vaginas sticking out of cardboard cutouts and shit. Make it happen, people. Don't.
Yeah, we definitely need that.
Well,
of course we do.
This next one is a Caroline special called Bookends. In a small countryside bookstore is a high school part-timer named Haru. She's not one to socialize much, and she feels at home with all the books around her. She has great knowledge, she has great organization skills and book knowledge. However, her customer service skills are subpar. She has a habit of hiding in the back room when customers walk in and only come out when they are ready to pay. But one day, the owner offers a new transfer student a job too. The Genki girl Shoko is great with customers, but doesn't know a thing about books and writers. In this slice of life, oh no! In this slice of life,
this is what gets you.
Yashike. Oh my god. In this slice of life, Iyashike, Haru will come out of her shell, Shoko will learn about books, and we will learn about the stories of each of their customers as well. God. When I had to read the words slice of life, Iyashike, it shot through my heart like a dart.
I love how that's what hit
God.
you. It's like breaking it down, what exactly the show would be like to watch for you.
They're just like, I just don't like Iyashike anime. They're just...
I know you don't.
They're so just soft and like, I understand that people like them, but I just...
In fact, the funny thing is, I think I would watch the show that I just wrote, but I know you do not... You would need a little more entertainment in that. Yeah, so that is my second
How many
plot.
episodes is that?
For you, 24.
Oh my god, that's like me
but
watching
in
Aqua
actuality,
Trope again.
it would be a 12-episode anime.
That's pretty rough. I mean, that would really be painful. And since I have to watch it twice, apparently, I would have to give that one 4 paper cuts out of 5 to my eyeballs. That was pretty bad. Now you wrote one more, so I'm gonna read this one as well. Because I don't want...
This one was a last-minute one, so it might not be as well thought out as the other ones.
Oh, well, we'll see about that. All right, EK Men love story. I'm not sure what EK Men means. It's
like the character that is like so perfect in school. You know, like the very... Like, an EK Men is, you know, the handsome kid in school.
Hide is a handsome, smart high school boy. Kana is a beautiful, smart high school girl. Both have two-toned hair and heterochromia. Oh my god, I hate this. Their classmates either want them to be they're coming out with a new Fire Emblem game that has the most obnoxious two-toned hair, heterochromia character I've ever seen in my life, and I will not buy that fucking game. I don't care how much Pancake cries and whines about it. I'm not buying that shit. Their classmates...
Back to the story.
God damn. Their classmates either want to be them or date them. But all of them know that Hide and Kana are meant to be together. The problem is that they are both dating phobic. So while Kana's tiggle bitties basically smack Hide in the face, Hide can't help but internally freak out. Meanwhile, Kana can barely hold his gaze. And so ensues a rom-com without the rom, and their friends try their hardest to get them together and defeat their dating phobias, and Hide and Kana eventually pretend to date just to get them off their backs. Get ready for romantic moment interruptions and blue balls galore. Next time. Yeah. Oh my god. Well, that's a little on the nose for me. But
yeah, maybe.
I will also give that 5 Tiggle Bitties that I can't touch out of 5. Or did I say 5?
Very nice. I think I did my job here.
Yeah, I want to leave some room for even better submissions, but we'll just say a 4 out of 5 is pretty strong.
Yeah. Okay, so now we get into our Discord submissions. So
Jeez. First
first up is one from Common Writer Chas F to me in particular. So let's see what we got here. The anime is called Falling in Love with a Bland Protagonist. Danji is average.
Oh, God.
He has black hair and a personality. It's a combination of Realist Hero Soma and Kelvin from Black Summoner. At best, he would be classified as a side character, but for whatever reason, the most popular girls at Sasuka High fall in love with him. His black hair and self-righteous attitude makes him irresistible to the most amazing women at Sasuka High. This anime will follow this bland character as the most attractive anime women fight against each other to gain Danji's affection. Okay, so actually, if this anime followed the women as they like see this very average-looking person and like, frick, I wanna be with this guy, and then they like, I don't know, have like bento style fights for his attention, I think I would actually enjoy watching that. But if it's from Danji's perspective and we're following him as the blandest character alive, then of course I would give this 3 out of 4 out of 5. I won't watch, but I'll start off with a 3 out of 5. I wouldn't want to watch.
All right. Now, Common Writer also did one for me, so I'm going to read this one now. The anime is called Sarah's Basketball. What? Okay. Based in future Japan, and aspire... You know what? I love Dragon Ball so much. I have a lot of Dragon Ball music on this laptop, but none of them are loaded on the soundboard. Based in future Japan, an aspiring woman basketball player, Sarah, plays the most competitive sport in future Japan, idol basketball. Top idols play and sing their hearts out in the Idol Basket Federation. For the top idols to enter the IBF, sounds like irritable bowel, each group must enter the idol selection project, where each group performs basketball-based songs and choreographed dances. The finalists will play the first and last basketball game on episode 12. And during the basketball game, the idols sing during the match. God. Wow, that was very wow. You hit everything with that. A fake sports anime.
It's not a fake sport, but it does include idol.
It's a fake sports anime because they make you think they're going to have sports in it, and then all they do is fuck around. Man. And they're idols, and they don't play the sport until the last episode. Man, you just nailed it. That was great. But not necessarily better than Caroline's, so I'm going to give that one 4.5. Just please play basketball out of 5. And then, of course, Raggedy Doctor would make a submission because he is very reliable. And Raggedy. Oh, wow.
Okay, so this one's for me. The title is, I got a harem I didn't ask for, despite my attempts to be boring in this new world. Here's the plot. Ren Takahashi was your standard run-of-the-mill high school student. He was top of the class, captain of the basketball and soccer teams, and his short black hair was always stylized just right. He was fairly popular with the ladies. Too popular, in fact, as they would chase him around the school. One such stampede resulted in his untimely death, but he wouldn't stay dead for long. Ren suddenly wakes up in the fantasy land of Gildheim. However, he appears in the middle of a slave auction.
Of course he does.
Luckily, his magical powers in this world saves the slave girls with the busty elf, the lewd cat girl, and sex crazed succubus, all pledging their undying love to Ren. Ren, fearing his previous death, vows to be as boring as possible so they lose interest. However, backfires as at every turn, Ren finds himself in a new situation where he uses his awe-inspiring powers and a new busty babe joins the ever-growing harem. The endless panty shots, boob grabs, and sexual advances may be too much for Ren to withstand, but he vows this time he will be boring. Okay, actually, not horrible.
Wow, you failed.
I'm not saying he failed. Like, it all depends. Like, I feel like the just synopsis, I can see some humor that I might enjoy, but if I were to watch it, it'd probably just let me down. So, 3.5 out of 5 I wouldn't watch.
Wow.
Now the next one, you should probably go. This one's also from Raggedy Doctor. The one immediately after this, I'll do.
Okay. All right. The next submission from Raggedy Doctor is for me, and the title is Blue Balls. It's the second time we've had this. I have made reference to Blue Balls several times. Blue Balls. Yoshikage's father is one of the greatest It's all going to be sports. Racquetball players in Japan that Japan has ever seen. See, it's already lame. Who the fuck likes racquetball? As such,
exactly.
I have played racquetball, and it's not terrible. As such, Yoshikage is determined to hit those famous blue racquetballs just like his father did. That's right. Hit it. You gonna hit it hard. You gonna hit it. Hey, girl. Where's my fucking drop? I don't know where it is. Yoshikage is also dating the hottest girl in school, Kimiko, who was an old host on this podcast. The problem is these two are in constant conflict. Yoshikage often thinks about his dates during matches, with the anime audience watching his ideas for dates and gift ideas of the matches themselves. His fantasies are tame because he swore to remain a virgin until marriage. Kimiko, however, is very, very horny. She struggles to keep her hands off his massive thighs and shoulders, his deltoids. She can barely maintain her desires, even when they are in public. This results in Yoshikage making long-winded explanations of the sport or using racquetball practice as an excuse to run out when things are getting too steamy with Kimiko. Such is the constant back and forth of Yoshikage's school days, like an endless racquetball volley. Will he be able to commit himself to one of his conflicting desires, or is he doomed to struggle forever, coming? Oh, God!
I think this requires 2 jelly beans.
Creamy mommy?
That was funny. You're gross.
Oh, boy. I will give that... Sounds pretty steamy to me. I kind of like that one. I'd probably watch that. I'm going to give that one 2. I'd probably fucking watch at least 2 episodes out of 5.
Okay, so that was a failure.
Yep, indeed. But you know what? That's okay because it's the effort that counts.
All right. This one is from Lady Emery, and it's for both of us, so double whammy.
You can read it.
This is called I Died in the Middle of a Soccer Game, and Now I'm a Rock Idol Teacher for Monster Girls Academy? With a question mark and an exclamation point. That's what it is. Okay. Brock was your average black-haired youth.
They're all really black-haired characters.
I just gave that as an example once, and they were running with it. He had average friends and an average life. He played midfielder for his middle school soccer team. One day, while playing an intense game tied 0-0, Brock suffered... I love his name is Brock. Like a very American name.
Rhymes with cock.
Brock suffered... Yes, we know, Mitsuki. Brock suffers from heat stroke and dies in the arms of the girl he never confessed to. Brock awakens to the sounds of a singing, pun-filled angel. I'm not sure what that means. He will be reborn once more to live an exciting life in another realm. He could start anew. He has only one condition. He must make the greatest idol group of all time within a year, or be reborn as a soccer ball in his old world for living such an average life. He agrees and is reborn as a talking rock, now renamed Sensei Rock.
The fuck is this?
But he's teaching a bunch of high school female monsters, and they're all gorgeous and throwing themselves at their new teacher. Join Sensei Rock as he navigates his new world, knowing nothing about music, trying to tie the game of soccer to the idol club's dance, while avoiding the advances of his overtly horny students. in this 52 plus episode journey.
Jesus. But a rock doesn't have a dick.
He doesn't need one. It's a sexy rock, apparently.
Oh, man. We got like... Boy, I have filthy places to take this synopsis that you are not ready for, Caroline.
Probably
not. Oh,
not.
my God.
I don't
wow.
know. It's a little wild for me. I don't know how, there's just a lot going on.
How sexy are they? How horny are they?
Who knows?
I mean, it matters.
I think it would be a wild ride. So actually, I think I would give this 2 out of 5. I wouldn't want to watch.
I think I might fucking watch this one, so I'm going to give that one a 2 out of 5 as well.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Why don't we do Sejinther next, because we got a submission for both of us.
Yeah. You want to take yours first?
Sure, I will take mine first. It's rather short. Blockers. A college freshman decides... His name is Blockers?
I think that's the name of the show, I think.
Oh, okay. Blockers is the title, perhaps. A college freshman decides to coach an American football team in order to get close to a cheerleader he likes. Well, that makes sense. But whenever he gets close to talking to her, the football team will interrupt at the most climactic moment. Will contain no football or naughty time, just implied football and innuendo. Well, yep. That sounds like the pain that I've been feeling with anime for 30 years, though, in a nutshell. But you wrote it very succinctly, and that's important.
Yes. Mine is also very succinct. Oh, do you want to give your rating?
I don't know. It sounds awful. I'd give it like a 3.5. Fuck this anime out of 5.
Okay, now here's for mine, also from there. Okay, this one's called Diplomatic Immunity. After losing a civil war, a young prince is forced into a bunch of diplomatic marriages to save his country, with his new wives aging from 10 to 80.
10?
The 10 to 80 years old. The young prince needs to find a way to satisfy each lady in order to save his country. Yeah, that's a 5 out of 5 I would not want to watch. Congratulations, Sejinther. You did it in 2 sentences.
It's pretty efficient. That's an efficient dispatching of you. So
it is very.
All right. This next one is from Big Damn Hero, who is for me. So I appreciate that.
Oh, you missed. You skipped Motoko.
Well, we will go back to Motoko.
Okay.
You know what? We can do Motoko's first. It's shorter. November Skies from Motoko. Ayame is a high school girl living with her aunt in a smaller town after she is the only survivor in a wreck that kills both her parents. She's fucking awful. Left with a white streak of hair, a physical reminder of the wreck, Ayame tries to move through the trauma with the help of new friends in an unfamiliar place. Will the new friends she makes in this location be enough to help her recover? Ugh. God. Yeah. I don't know. Not for me. This is like one of those anime where you just like mope around and and bitch about things, and then like found family saves you. So
it's the white streak of hair for me.
I'd probably give that like a 2 out of 5. I mean, it does sound like shit though. All right, the last submission is from Big Damn Hero. I cue up some music here. It's like, how many more old Dragon Ball like theme songs can I find? It's like a boss fight music. Prove it. When Daiki and Hikari were in elementary school, they were best friends who would always compete in Yugi Gassen matches with other kids in their village. I don't know what Yugi Gassen is. No.
No. I'm gonna look that up.
When Daichi's parents moved away from the village with his dad's job, Daichi became depressed since there was no way to play Yugi Gassen, where his parents moved to. To pass the time, he took up esports and eventually became champion in several different esports categories. Years later, after his father passed away, his mom could not afford to live in the city, so they moved back to the snowy village where he grew up. After joining a high school esports club, he runs into Hikari, who never gave up on the Yuki Gassen. And Hikari begins to mock Daichi nonstop for giving up and not playing real sports anymore. Daichi challenges Hikari to beat him in any category of sport, and if he loses, she will go back to Yukigassen to fulfill the remaining spot required to keep the school's club going. You will follow Daichi and Hikari as they compete in esports such as extreme ironing, shogi, fishing, cheese rolling, and daifugol. Each esport category will be its own 12 episodes. I will kill myself before I watch this.
Okay, so Yukigassen is actually snowball fight, basically.
Oh, that makes sense. Because Yuki means snow. Yeah, there's no fucking way I would watch this. This is, wow. 70-some episodes of, like, my worst nightmare. So I will give this one 4 fuck no's out of 5. I would not watch this. God, we just we just took, like, the worst and the most, like, stagnant concepts that continue to ravage anime and just summarize them into, like, a 40-minute discussion. Not even 40 minutes, more like 30. So what I've learned is quit with the fucking school clubs. Fuck off with the black-haired boring characters. Fuck off with all the blue ball shit.
Slice of life, especially if they're over 12 episodes.
Slice of lives. Yeah, fuck those.
Uriyashikes.
And whatever other complaints you have, Caroline.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we've all very succinctly summarized our thoughts on the worst parts of anime. So thank you very much to everyone that helped us out with this, because me and Mitsuki could only think of like 2 or 3 plots ourselves. This definitely helped us out quite a bit. So, and congratulations for making us so infuriated. I'm
not going to lie, Caroline. I could have come up with hundreds of ways to horrify you.
But you didn't.
We'll have to save them for next time.
Okay, that sounds like a lot of fun. Here's the in-show weekly trivia question. What level is Kelvin at the end of Season 1 of Black Summoner? And we will give you the answer after the news break.
It doesn't matter. He's the best character ever.
Yeah.
See you guys. Hey, Anime Addicts, it's Mitsuki, and I'm bringing you more of your anime news. Getting us started off, Vic Mignogna is in the news. Wow. So he is filing a petition with the Supreme Court of Texas to review the decision on McDurpaderp's defamation lawsuit against Funimation, Jamie Marchi, and Monica Rial, and also Monica Rial's fiance. So it looks like the Texas Second Court of Appeals ruled against Mignogna and the voice actor's lawyers in the defamation case. However, Mignogna is filing a petition citing Rule 11, which I won't really go into, but it's about who can and cannot sign contracts relating to a case. And also, the petition claims that the courts made errors regarding Mignogna as a public figure with insufficient evidence, holding that a party can be, quote, involuntarily converted into a limited-purpose public figure by defending himself against defamatory statements. So there is some pretty grand detail here. If you want to read more about this detail, you can find it online. But just know for now that Funimation, Marchi, Rial, and Toei all waived the filing in response to the petition, but stated that they will file a response if the court requests one. So the lawsuit rages on between Mignogna and these other people. I don't know why he cares. He's worth like $5 million. Just retire. just move on. Next up, voice actress Tomomi Mineuchi announces retirement. So this was announced fairly recently. She made her debut in 2018 as Eiko Tokuya on Slow Start TV and has also played roles as Iruru in Kobayashi's Maid Dragon S and other titles as well. So voice actress Tomomi Mineuchi, goodbye. We enjoyed you. Enjoy retirement. Next up, Senki Zesho Symphogear is also back in the news with a new franchise being announced. It just will not end. There's like, 7 seasons of this anime now or something. So Symphogear Live 2020 to 2022 announced that there is going to be a new project coming, the female idol action series had got its first anime season in 13 episodes in 2012, which was produced by Satellite. And then there were 4 other sequels in the summers of 2013, 15, 17, and 19. Very consistent. So yes, indeed, there are 5 seasons of Symphogear. So Dan Yoshi began writing a manga adaptation from December 11th through March 2013 in New Type Ace magazine. Next up, another new anime coming out. Original TV anime Pole Princess has been announced. It is going to star Hinano Hoshikita as Rio. The staff is Hitomi Ezoe as the director from studio Tatsunoko Productions, which is a pretty well-known property. The promo art is pretty interesting for this. It's very beautiful. It's got a very interesting-looking female character. I don't know what she's doing. Pole dancing? I don't fucking know. But this one's getting a lot of talk online. You may want to Google it if you're interested in Pole Princess coming out of Tatsunoko Productions. This was Mitsuki, and this was your anime news break. And now, as we do, time to get back to the podcast. Anime Addicts, we know that many of you have wanted to help out the podcast in the past, but times are tough. We get it. And of course, we still love you, and that's why we have big news for all you anime addicts out there. The podcast is launching its official Amazon affiliates page, so you can head over to www.supporttheaddicts.com to view our Amazon affiliates page. We've got you covered with all your essentials. Your favorite anime merchandise, video games and card games, Japanese snacks and coffee, and regular daily items like energy drinks, PC hardware, electronics, household products, gift cards, pet supplies, and more. We've got it all, people. And of course, the podcast does receive earnings from the use of these links. So anime addicts, make a bookmark on your smartphone or PC so you'll remember, before you go to Amazon to shop, don't forget to stop over at supporttheaddicts.com. Again, that's www.supporttheaddicts.com. All right, guys, welcome back to the podcast. When we left you, we had an intro trivia question. The question was, in the anime Black Summoner, Kelvin is what level at the end of Season 1? They actually show you right at the end of Season 1, pretty much. The answer is 95. He's level 95.
Whoa, he's so cool. I've never seen a black-haired bland protagonist do that before.
Nothing gets me hotter than a black-haired protagonist, I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah. Can I vent for a second?
No, we're not even at the review yet.
No, not about Black Summoner. This is something that happened during the news break.
Oh boy.
It has nothing to do with anime whatsoever.
Okay. Maybe
it would just take a minute.
Okay.
So, my mom's birthday is coming up. She has it in December, so she's a December birthday, and we also have Christmas. So naturally, that is a little bit of a difficult thing to maneuver, trying to get her a present for her birthday and a present for Christmas in very short time period. Anywho, so we had originally come up with getting her a gift certificate to get massages for her birthday.
It's a great idea.
We decided, never mind, we're going to be doing the New York City trip instead, and then we're going to give her the massage gift certificate for Christmas.
Sounds pretty
nice.
Now,
I had told my dad about this. I told my dad about the massage thing. And then I see, just now, a text message from my father to our sister's group chat saying, so I'm going to be getting her the gift certificate to get her massage for her birthday, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa. That was our idea! You're just stealing our ideas, of which there are not many in a short period of time. And he's like, oh, I thought you were going to do that for the birthday, but then decided to change your mind. And we're like, Yes, but we were still gonna do it. So, it's so annoying.
You feel better now?
No, because now he's like, okay, then you guys do the massage gift certificate thing then. But I'm like, he's just so.
You can buy me a massage gift certificate. Okay, or
you
not.
don't need one.
I actually do.
It's time for an almighty anime mailbag. Anime.
Mailbag. If you want to leave a mailbag, guys, it's www.aaapodcast.com/mailbag. Yeah, you can just leave whatever kind of mailbag submissions you want. We got all sorts of things for you there. So, just like Tom did, how do I get included on the AAA podcast's next Japan trip? What a great question, because Japan is open now, finally. Well, the last time we did this was 6 years ago or so, and we'll probably open up submissions, and I will make you write an essay, probably, explaining why you think you deserve to go on this Japan trip, which I will use to whittle you down to about 20 people. Then I will interview all of you.
Wow.
That's how we did it last time, and last time I confirmed that our acceptance rate for the Japan trip was somewhat more difficult than getting into Harvard. So I think we had like 200 people that wanted in last time, and well, we only took like 8 people. So that's the process. That's pretty much it. I mean, it has to be like that because there's going to be a ton of people that want to go, and you also have to have the money to do it. It's not like the podcast isn't going to pay for the expenses. So, Caroline, would you like to reveal? And by the way, we will make it. If we do another trip, there will be plenty of notice, by the way. Caroline, would you like to read the next mailbag?
All right, this one's from Rosso, who says, "Hello, Addicts. I'm a new listener for the most part. Mostly a question for Mitsugi. What is your favorite Kawajiri work and why? Definitely one of the guys that got me into anime when I was younger. Mitsugi, what do you have to say?"
Well, I've seen quite a number of his works, although I had to look up Kawajiri to get the list because I couldn't, I don't have a full memory of everything he's done, but Kawajiri tends to exist back in that time period that I just love, which is like the late 80s, not early 90s. That's one of my favorite time periods for anime. And just going down the list, Wicked City is really great. It's dark and fucked up and just gutsy, and the types of shit it's got in that movie. So that's really good. Demon City Shinjuku, I also enjoy. It's got some pretty neat stuff in it. Everybody knows Ninja Scroll. Doesn't really need an explanation. Ninja Scroll, though not one of my favorites. I think out of all the stuff I've seen of his, and I haven't seen it all, I would say my favorites are probably Wicked City and X, the TV series. So, which is a pretty okay TV series done by Clamp. So, definitely worth watching. But there's a ton of shit here. This guy has at least done like storyboards for a ton of shit and is still working today. So, pretty much a legend. So, would you like to weigh in, or should I read the next mailbag?
I mean, well, I am not familiar with any of Kawajiri's work, so
it's quite okay. It's kind of from a time period that is, too old for you or someone like Pancake, for example, to really have seen a lot of it, unless you like go back and intentionally look for this stuff. The last mailbag is from Hadon, who writes, "Hey, AAA podcast. I am a fairly new listener and have enjoyed listening to your content over the past month, but I have not heard you guys mention or reference the greatest anime of all time, One Piece. Have you seen One Piece, or have any of you seen One Piece, or are you currently watching One Piece? Thank you." Caroline?
In mid Jelly Bean, because that was the rule of anime I've never seen, and that would answer your question. I've never seen One Piece. It's just too long. I know everybody says that, but based on my ever-growing currently watching list and how rarely it decreases, I don't think I'd ever be able to finish it. So I'm sorry, I don't think it's going to be appearing on my watch list anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think Mason is watching it. I will say that I occasionally attempt to watch One Piece again. The most recent attempt was a few months ago. Pancake and I sat down and we said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just see what's up. So we put it on, and neither of us could get through more than like 2 episodes because we just don't like the art style. It just looks like... I shouldn't say it looks like shit, but it just is very... It looks very silly. So... You know, you got like pirates.
Marshmallow on a stick, as you once put it.
Marshmallows on a stick. You know, you got like pirates with clown noses. You got skeleton people walking around. It just doesn't appeal to me. It's just too... I don't know. The character designs are too unserious for me. I don't know. I'm more into like the badass shonen looking characters, and One Piece is very silly looking. And so that isn't to say anything about the content because I don't know enough to really speak to it. I just feel I did see half of a One Piece movie, but I have no idea what was going on. All right. But thank you for your mailbags. I appreciate all of you, you know, One Piece, a lot. I personally can't really say if it's the greatest anime of all time. I highly doubt it, but there are definitely others that agree with you, so go for it. All right. Now, the review of Black Summoner, which is an anime that I passed in the summer of an episode 637 from the summer of 2022. And I recall that I had 4 isekai this season. There was the Harem show, which I failed, and you guys picked it anyway. There was this show, the Black Summoner show, and a few others that I think one of them was I failed the Uncle show, Uncle Harem, the Uncle Isekai, and you picked that one. I just had a ton of Isekai. So I basically said, well, half my shows are Isekai. I'm just going to pick the one that I enjoyed the most through 3 episodes, and Black Summoner was the one that I picked. Now, people on the Discord kind of made me feel like this was going to become a fucking disaster. Like, oh, you passed it based on 3 episodes, but joke's on you, it's going to become a fucking disaster. That's kind of the impression I got. So we'll see. You can find it on Verve. This is where I tend to watch things, which is Crunchyroll essentially. I like Verve because, I don't know, I'm familiar with it, more or less. And this is an anime that is directed by Hidaike Yoshimasa, who has done a lot of directing. Amagami SS and Working are two examples. There's more, but that's just 2 examples. And it's done by Studio Satellite, which has a huge resume. I'm not going to run down the resume, but we did mention like Symphogear on the news break. And it's based on a light novel. Now, Caroline, what did you expect coming into Buraku Summoner, also known as Kuro no Shokanshi?
Sorry, I'm chewing. It's always harder to chew when you have so much pressure on you. It's your fault for mentioning anime I've never seen. Anywho, my expectations was dime a dozen isekai. Absolutely nothing more or less. That's it. Wow.
All right, fair enough. I had already seen 4 episodes of this, I think, before I passed it because I was having a tough time that season picking between the harem. I actually didn't dislike the harem anime through 3 episodes. Like I recall it had one really compelling episode, and I was interested. The Uncle show, everyone else liked it, but I thought it was boring as fuck. So I needed a few extra episodes to watch. So sometimes I will watch like a 4th or maybe even a 5th episode before passing or failing something, just so I can be sure. So I was pretty sure what I was getting into with this one. You know, I expected a somewhat good, but probably not incredible isekai anime. You know, a lot of these things are pretty average. So, but wow, was I wrong? Caroline, what do you think? Would you recommend this anime?
No! There's like nothing particularly entertaining or interesting in this one. There are far better isekai to watch that would be well worth your time, but it's not this one. I don't know, like it's just boring. There's nothing to it. And in fact, it was such a slog to get through. I would compare it to Leodale or even Realist Hero.
Well, I would recommend it. Particularly, I would recommend it for fans of isekai. It's not especially lewd or gross for a show that has, the typical breakdown of all the different girl characters that will join his party. There's not a lot of lewd or like sexual inclination of any kind really in this anime, which is a little surprising. It's not really animated all that well, but some of the concepts in it are pretty fun, and I'd say it's worth recommending for isekai fans, and that's probably as far as I'd go. But there are definitely things I did enjoy about Black Summoner, and we're going to get into that here in a minute. Particularly, one thing I'll say, before we get to spoilers, I can say a few more things. I really enjoyed how they kept up with the leveling system in this anime. It's a lot of fun, and harkens back to like Dragon Ball era of like shonen, where you get excited about like, ooh, like, oh my god, Frieza's power level is this, or Goku's power level in the Saiyan saga was, this amount, and then everyone's, you're comparing power levels, and well, Black Summoner, it's a continual thing where he'll like scan an opponent and be like, oh, okay, well, you're level 48, but it'll give a lot of detail about the character. Like you can kind of pause it and read through their stats, read through their skills, the skill levels, all that stuff. So if you're a big fan of like RPGs and you get a kick out of, looking at someone's like HP and MP points, you can do that in this, and and unlike some isekai shows where they'll kind of do that a few times and then stop doing it, they keep up with it, and that's pretty much how we knew what Kelvin's level was at the end of this anime. But you know what? I realized I didn't even go through the synopsis, so
I don't think you need to.
it is an isekai anime. Kelvin gives up some of his memories of his prior life in exchange for powerful abilities. So he gets additional skill points, and he's an S-class summoner. And as a bonus, the goddess facilitating his rebirth, whose name is Melfina, by the way, which is like lifted right out of Outlaw Star, offers him a choice of any companion to give him a head start in his role. So Kelvin, who has fallen head over heels for Melfina at first sight, promptly chooses her. So he embarks on an exciting new journey with Melfina as his guide. She mostly, until like the second half, shows up just like as a voice in his head. However, in order to summon his beloved goddess, he needs to acquire a lot of mana points, so it takes him kind of a while to get to that point, as I just said. And because he gives up most of his like past life memories, there's not a lot of like isekai type stuff in this show. Like it technically is, but promptly becomes not really much of an isekai because there's never really any significant reference to like the prior world or whatever. He doesn't know anything about it. So
except for Rice.
Oh, except for Rice, which I mean, how could you forget? That's true. Now, Caroline,
he has very selective memory,
Well, rice is delicious. I'm gonna make some in my rice cooker.
It will surpass any magical spell that makes you forget your past.
A perfectly cooked, fresh rice cooker of rice is magical.
Mm-hmm.
I will say. I love how it kind of crackles when you open it. Caroline, would you like to say anything else before we jump to spoilers?
I have a rebuttal about that, like how much you liked the game system of this world,
like the leveling and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'll just say this because I'm tired of it. It's so overdone. I don't know why they keep doing this. Like, in no other medium would there be so many stories that revolve around people being sent to fantasy worlds and have it basically be an MMO style world. It's just, why? I suppose this isn't the worst example because they do put some work into making all the stats and keep on referring to them and stuff. I just don't like the concept because it's so overdone and I don't really care. And it's just like, can't we have a cool fantasy world with powers and no mentions of mana or XP or levels or skills or titles? Because honestly, it's just a weird setup that doesn't make any logical sense for why this would be a thing in the fantasy world. It just doesn't. So, call me a Scrooge in this aspect. But yeah, it's just not my thing.
All right, McDuck, here come your spoilers.
Spoilers are coming. Oh my god!
There really isn't much to spoil here, though.
Yeah, I mean, so he starts off by doing nothing because he has no power, but he tames a slime.
Okay, the slime is the best part of the show.
And so he tames a slime, and the slime levels up quite a lot and becomes a useful sort of fighter / companion for him. And he acquires gradually powerful companions. He acquires a black knight that is basically just like a guts type fighter, like a huge sword armor. He acquires a slave girl who's an elf.
A couple slave girls, in fact.
Does he acquire more than one?
No, it's the maids. The mother and daughter.
Oh, yeah. Well, were they slaves?
But don't worry.
I thought he hired
He's
them
their
to like.
savior.
I thought he hired them to like work at like their house or whatever.
I mean, I guess they were slaves. I don't know if he kept up the whole slave thing, but considering he kept up the whole slave thing, technically, with Ethyl, whatever her name is.
Yeah, I don't think
I wouldn't put past him.
I don't think that the elf girl was definitely a slave, but I don't think the other two were slaves. They're just like maids that he comes across and hires them to work for.
No, I mean they were in a slavery ring.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
They were going to be slaves.
I don't know what it is with these shows and like slaves, but I feel like it's a non-issue here though, because Kelvin doesn't really. I mean, he doesn't really have much interest sexually, and he's not. Them, so
it's not like the worst thing ever. More than anything, I'm just like thinking to myself, no way would these girls who are slaves agree to continue being a slave and be so happy about it, even if he is a very nice person. Really, it's not the biggest deal in the world. I'm like, okay, so here's another thing about Ethyl. So she has been a slave her entire life. She has no memory of any other life before being a slave. But she also has that curse where no one is able to touch her unless they catch fire. So I'm wondering, how is she still a slave? How is she not like just thrown off to the side? Like, we don't need you because we can't sell you. Like, how has she survived 14, I don't know how old she is, like several years of being a slave and not actually being a slave because no one can touch her or nobody wants her?
That's a good question, and I haven't really given the adequate amount of thought to that. I don't think that question never even really occurred to me as I update my anime list for this anime.
I just like to input logical questions into an illogical anime.
Yeah, I mean, this anime doesn't do a lot. It doesn't have other than the fact of just climbing the ranks of like adventure classes, it doesn't have a very well-developed plot line at this point. Towards the end of the season, they get around to like a war between the kingdoms, basically. But up until, I'd say, episode 10, they are pretty much content acquiring new party members and going on quests, essentially, that are given to him by the Adventurer Guild that, you know, causes him to level up and his party to level up, and they get loot, and they, you know, he's like basically S-rank adventurer by the end of season 1. Yeah, he's got his harem, I guess, but he doesn't seem to give a fuck. Like, I'm kind of surprised by that, actually.
Yeah, I mean, there's no, like, real nudity or anything like that, which is fine. It's just, well, I mean, there are plenty of instances of, like, girls sneaking into his bed with him, including his little sister figure, which is weird. It's, like, not the worst. It's just still not good. It's, like, it's just, yeah. I don't really even know what to think of it. Like, I don't hate it, but it's not good.
Now, the show does one thing that I thought was really interesting, and particularly is that they do come across, he's not the hero of the story. He comes across the heroes, because there's always a hero, like a hero party, that has to defeat the demon lord or whatever. It's just how it is, I guess. And he comes across them and whoops their asses, pretty much, and is eventually actually able to gain a skill where he can summon the hero party, like, at his will. It doesn't happen.
No, I think the skill is that he summons a hero, so a separate person into this world. So, like, and that's what he did for this little, like, the girl that becomes basically his little sister. It is? That's the skill. Yeah.
Oh, that's a lot less interesting.
Yeah.
See, I thought he was able to summon the hero party to battle, to fight with him. But if all he did was summon the little girl whose name is...
Rion?
Yes, Rion.
I think it's Rion.
Then it's a little less interesting, unfortunately.
I kind of like the backstory of her being like, oh, I've been stuck in a hospital bed my entire life, and now I finally want to, and have a dog, and have the freedom to run around and things like that. I like stories like that. That's the main reason why I like the Mother's Rosario arc in SAO. But, I mean, so they keep on inserting, like, these very small backstories and not expanding upon them. And it just makes for, even though they have backstories, very bland characters. Like, there's nothing to her except the mention of a backstory. Same thing with the Black Knight. Like, he has a backstory that they just don't reference anymore. I think we're getting somewhere with that feel, so maybe in season 2 they'll get into that more with her mother and how she was the wife of a dragon, which is a little weird, and etc. So, yeah. I mean, I kind of liked Sarah, like, a little bit, because she at least had some sort of personality, but even so, still pretty bland.
Yeah, I think if I had to rank the girls he has, he's got 4 girls with him. He's got Ethel, the little elf girl. He's got Sarah, the dragon princess or whatever. Who looks like a 2009 hipster with her little tie and vest.
Yes, exactly. All she needs is a fedora.
Oh god, that was like the worst period of time. I just want to slap. It's like slap. It's like, why are you wearing a fucking tie to, like, some, like, fucking
Why are you wearing this very
bar?
Western outfit in this fantasy world?
He's got Melfina, who is the...
Oh, no, I like her, actually.
Who's the goddess lady.
I liked her when she was, like, a disembodied voice. I found her to be a little bit funny. But when she become an actual person, like, I'm like, okay, so she's just one of them then.
And he's got Rion, though, the new girl. Now, Rion is my least favorite for sure. Ethel, for someone who I thought was going to be, like, a main character in this whole party... She definitely, and I don't have the spoiler icon up on Twitch, so let me fix that. She definitely doesn't do much in this. Like, she definitely disappears for the most part. Like, she's around, but she's not, like, there's nothing really, she's not involved in a lot, right?
Yeah, I feel like most of the time she's just making picnic sandwiches.
Then, so I'd say she's 3rd place, and then for me, I definitely think Melfina is 2nd, although I like Melfina, but I just think it's, like, kind of odd that he has the goddess of the whole world with him in his party. And then Sarah is probably my favorite. I mean, she doesn't really do much either, but because the show is really mostly him, right? And but I don't know, like, it's not to me, it wasn't a terrible anime. Like, it was easy to watch. I watched it pretty fast. I never felt like I was suffering. I watched this mostly, like, in the gym this week. So I was just kind of, like, on the stationary bike or whatever, watching this, and it has, like, some okay action scenes. I mean, they're pretty average, I'd say.
Average? I mean, yeah. I guess, okay, so at best they're average, but then we have at least 2 fight scenes that look like they're straight out of a video game cutscene, and then a lot of
that's not necessarily bad.
It's not necessarily bad if, like, maybe, I don't know, all the fight scenes were that way, or all the anime was, but it's just so stark in comparison to the animation that they had before, that's like, ugh, it really takes you out of it. And then it takes you out of it more when you see the Black Knight, and he's rendered in, because, it's a little bit hard to animate him, and he's in the same, like, perspective, he's in the same scene as somebody in 2D. So I understand the reasoning for it, it just doesn't look good.
it doesn't, to me, the animation is not good. It's like the backgrounds don't move very much. The character designs aren't overwhelmingly imaginative or anything like that.
Oh, and for whatever reason, the eyes really get to me. I do not like especially the main or Kelvin's eyes are just so weird looking. Like the shine to them, it's just, I don't know. It's just something about them.
It's a shame you're not watching that harem isekai because
oh yeah, I'm very
the main
sad.
girl in that show has got some fucking crazy eyes and large breasts that you see quite a lot with the nipples and everything.
Nice.
So you're really dodging a bullet with that one, but the fans, they won't be happy about
they
that.
won't. I'm sorry.
They want to see you suffer.
If I had to choose one, it's got to be that one.
Boy, I just don't have like a lot more to say about Black Summoner. I didn't think it was terrible. I'm interested to see if the story takes off in season 2, which by the way I checked, and season 2 does seem to be confirmed, but there's no date for it yet. So I'm not really sure like when to expect that. I would just guess like next summer maybe, because they tend to, if something came out, the first season comes out in the summer, it's either going to be 2 or 4 seasons later. So it'll, in my experience, it's summer and then they'll do winter, or they'll just go straight to summer again. And since we're already in winter, right? Or are we in the winter season right now? Are we in the fall season?
Great question. I don't remember.
We're in the fall season right now.
We're coming up on the winter season at the very least.
But if you look at the seasonal anime for the winter, I'm just gonna type Koodle in here and we'll see if anything comes up. I don't think I saw it for in winter.
Oh, it could be. Not. I think it starts in about a month, maybe.
The new season
starts in January.
Well, I don't see anything in winter, but that doesn't mean it's not there. It just maybe I'm not seeing it. But I didn't hate it. You know, the OP is okay. It's fast and energetic at least, and not overly obnoxious. But I just enjoyed in this anime. I enjoyed the how they kept up with the levels and the stats. Kelvin was a pretty decent character. He didn't like lewd or try to have sex with his like slave girls, so to speak. They're just kind of like, he basically bought that slave girl because he was able to like handle her without dying, because as you said, she had a curse on her, and I think he just wanted to do something nice for her. Basically, is kind of how I took it. Which is different than like the harem anime where he buys the slave girl because he wants to have sex with her, and he does every episode. And Pancake just brought me a cherry limeade from Sonic.
How nice!
Yeah, because I have a very good waifu. And so like by contrast, Kelvin's like an angel compared to the fucking guy from the harem show.
Yeah, but okay, so it's just he's just not interesting. And in fact, like I feel like they tried. I feel like the anime tries to make him seem more interesting, because there was that last bad guy, like the one that had a bunch of slave girls being his henchmen or henchwoman or whatever. Remember that guy? And then, so Kelvin, at the end of that fight, is like talking to Clotho, or however you say the slime's name.
Clotho, probably.
Yeah. And so he's like, yeah, I could have been like that guy. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, you're not a perv. You're not evil. You're not like mustache twirling evil. You're not gonna be like that guy. The only thing you have in both reincarnated. It's not that deep, Kelvin. So yeah, he's just bland. And then also just like strange story choices. Like we mentioned the group of heroes, and for whatever reason, Kelvin decides to pretend to be the bad guy to like teach them a lesson. And he's like, change your stance, or incorporate this magic move into your fighting skill, or whatever. Meanwhile, he's still pretending to be the big bad. And I'm like thinking to myself, why go through all the trouble? Like, why not just say, hey, I'm also a hero. Do this for me. Or do this and you'll be a better fighter. And also...
Keep going. Get it all out, Caroline.
It just seems like, again, illogical to want to be an S-class hero in this world when he apparently just wants to like be under the radar and not be at the whims of the kingdoms. Like, I guess maybe he didn't know it at first that he would be, sought out by like the kingdoms as an S-class summoner. But also, like, if your plan is to be a, mid-level fighter and just enjoy this fantasy world, why make yourself ultra powerful? That doesn't make any sense. And so he's like trying to avoid that, but also is not keeping it a big secret that he is extremely powerful. And I'm thinking to myself, it doesn't make any sense.
It would have been so boring though if he had just like decided he wanted to be like low class, like I want to slip under the radar, so I'm just going to do nothing.
This is true, but actually, so I'm going to bring up one of the shows that I did not pass in our impressions recently.
Sure.
The Eminence in Shadow, because it's a similar concept in that you got this guy reincarnated into a new world, and he wants to be a very normal character because that's just his dream, to be like an underground person, like, pulling the strings without people knowing, which is understandable in his sense because he actually keeps his powers a secret. He doesn't! Kelvin doesn't! So it doesn't make any, at least in Eminence in Shadow, it makes sense. But yeah. I can go on for a while, but I think I've said it all. Also, there's just bad dialogue, like really bad. Like he's like, "Stay away from my woman," and it's like, you wouldn't say that. That's out of character, out of the bland character that you've already presented. So yeah.
Would you like to give your score?
Yeah, I pretty much said it all, haven't I? Bland characters, bad dialogue. It was a slog to get through. It wasn't the worst isekai I've ever seen. I'll give that still to Realist Hero, but this is like on almost there. It's almost there. It's almost on par with Leodale. I can't remember what I gave, what scores I gave those two, but I'm gonna give this
a terrible score.
Yeah, definitely. 1.5 slimes out of 5.
I thought this anime was okay. It's not like it's not gonna change anime in any way. It's not gonna make you fall in love all over again, But it's at least to me it was much easier to watch than it was for you. The characters are pretty bland, but I enjoy that they kept up with the leveling system and the skill system of the world, and I'm interested to see where it goes in season 2 if we end up watching it. So. But I think I've said everything I need to say, so I'm going to give it 5 minus 2, so 3. He didn't even react. I'm going to give it 3 summoned heroes out of 5. Because, I really didn't dislike it. You know what? Fuck it. I'm going to give it a 3.5. I liked it pretty well.
Oh, good Lord!
I like the interaction with the other hero party. I think they're going to come into play later. I like that Kelvin's not a dirtbag for once. He doesn't torture you with like, I want to fuck this little girl, or I want to summon. See, if it had been if it had been any other isekai, he would have summoned that little girl and called him his sister and then banged her. The jobless reincarnation guy would have been like talking in his head about how he wants to like lewd this like 12-year-old. Or whatever.
Well, yeah.
And Kelvin doesn't do that.
Reincarnation is a special case.
He doesn't do that. He doesn't buy the slave girl so he can have sex with her or whatever,
But also, when was the last, other than jobless reincarnation, when was the last isekai that was like this, that he actually had sex with him? He just like I don't know, have an accidental boob grab here and there.
I don't know, but this anime doesn't even have accidental boob grabs, really.
Yeah, no boob grabs.
So
hardly any like lingering boob cameras or anything like that.
So it was fine, reasonable, a little bland, but succeeds in a couple spots where other isekai have just been fucking awful. So and it's not about economics or whatever, so that should be good. All right, next week we're going to be doing Aoashi, which I expect everybody will enjoy. Has very strong reviews online, and I'm almost done with it, so I don't have to go very far. And it is good.
I had to watch it. I'm 5 episodes in, so it's going to be quite a week of watching soccer for me, and not the soccer.
I think it'll go quick for you because it's really about soccer, and there's not a lot of like deep plot like you're mostly here like learning about soccer and watching them play soccer, so you can like
Yeah, I mean,
watch
I'm
this
not saying it's
easily.
bad. It's fine so far. It's just it's not really my thing usually. So, and actually, originally I'm the one who failed it, and you're the one who passed it. So this should be interesting.
But guys, hey, thank you so much. That's our show for today. If you want to help the podcast, you can go to aapodcast.com/join our Patreon. We are on all the social medias. We're on the Twitters. We are at AAA Podcast. If you want to send us a message, you can do it there. You can send us messages on the Discord. I respond to all direct messages, and I get quite a lot of them and answer each and every one of them. We're on
also get involved in our Secret Santa.
That's right, Secret Santa, so don't miss out on that. And the betting club. You can do that. There's lots of clubs on the Discord. A little bit of something for everybody. And, of course, you can find us on Facebook and TikTok as well. So, like I said, next week is Aoashi. So, and we'll be talking about some of the anime that we've been watching extracurricularly. So, thank you so much as Pancake hands me a warm neck pillow.
Oh, my goodness, Pancake.
Oh. And thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.